Hi everyone. Again, we have Mr. Rajan Lal with us. Today's episode is something which is very close to his heart. This is about a very specific birthday that you had, which was, if I recall it correctly, from what I understand, was a turning point in your life. So, this is about the events at your 50th birthday.
Yes, Asim, actually, this takes me back nearly 27 or no, 25 and 27 years back,
Let people keep on guessing your age. Let people
1996.
keep on guessing
No,
your
there's
age.
nothing to guess. I just speak my age very clearly. But this was about merely 1996 ki baat hai, when suddenly uh, my birthday was on 6th of Feb, and I think this must be around the 1st or 2nd of Feb, or
A week to 10
a
days
week to
before that.
10 days before
Week
that.
before that.
And I had planned a very big event and party for that at the Leela, that time the Kempinski, and I'd called about nearly 400-500 people for that party, and the cards were all printed. And those cards were specially made because in the cards I had put a gold crystal Swarovski keychain made specially by Swarovski, because I was the agent for Swarovski and they gifted me this on my birthday, and I had my company's logo ITL in it, and I had this gold chain with the card printed, and they were all lying in my living room. This was about a week or maybe 10 days before. Suddenly in the morning, at about 6:37 in the morning, I was harshly intruded, and my door was broken open by a lady who walked in, and I was asleep. And suddenly I didn't know what was happening. They said this is an income tax raid, and they had blocked the entire area. There must be about 15-20 people. And I had two dogs, German Shepherds. I had my security guard, was kept aside or maybe silenced or whatever, and the dogs were silent. And they suddenly walked into my bedroom. And I said, "What's this?" They said, "Sir, if you don't mind, this is a raid we are conducting. And not to worry, everything is there. We just want to come and check." And I didn't know that at that time, and I was in a kind of shock. And I got to know that suddenly all my 5 offices in Delhi, Madras, Bangalore, Tirupur, Bombay, my office in Bombay were all raided simultaneously at the same time on the same day. And this was, I think, a well-planned raid or whatever it was. It was a very well-planned raid. But they came in and I said, "Tell me what I can do." He said, "No, sir, just sit down. It's okay. Let's sit in the living room." We came down to the living room. Actually, Varsha was with me. And they started the normal questioning, and they said, "We have information that there is a lot of cash lying around in the house, and we've done our homework and everything and come, and we need to search the place like they do." So I said, "Sir, you can search the place, and if you find any money or anything." He said, "No, no, we have information. There's over 12 crores lying in cash with
Oh
you."
wow, 12 crores.
12 crores.
At that time?
At that time.
At that time meant like
Yeah.
100 crores now?
So I said, 12 crores. I said, "If you find 12 crores, give me 2 crores, you can take 10 crores. So she started laughing.
So you
She said,
maintained your wit at that time
"Yeah," I
as
said,
well.
"You can take." I was very cool and calm and everything. And uh, she started questioning, and these guys started going around the house looking for places and stuff like that, and turning everything upside down, whatever happened. And eventually, when they opened my cupboard, they must have got 1.5, 2 lakhs of rupees. "So what is this?" I said, "This is the money which my distributor has given me for my next film, and is paid in cash. I'm going to deposit in the bank." So, I mean, they took that away, and they were there for nearly about, I think, 12 to 15 hours, if not later, and started questioning and all that. And in the meantime, I got a call from a couple of higher ups, which I don't want to name, who were very well known to me and well connected. And they said, don't worry, everything will be fine. And I didn't. I got more
Relaxed.
relaxed, and I said, okay, fine. And then they asked Varsha about her business. What does she do? She said she did interior work. And they, of course, raided her office and found whatever they found or didn't find. And this all continued for about 12, 15 hours. And then they went away, took everything. So I was under that trauma of thinking of my birthday. And then they found this card, the invitation card, and said, sir, this card must be worth about more than 4,000, 5,000 each card. I said, what do you mean? It's a printed card. She said, no, the gold chain inside looks like very costly because it's gold and crystal. So I said, yeah, I am the agent for Swarovski, and they've gifted me this, so I wanted to give that each with each invite. Anyway, cut to all that tension that happened and what followed subsequently, where I visited the commissioner and I visited the other people whom I was supposed to meet to see what happened. And I went and met the commissioner of the income tax that time for the first time, and I told him, I said, sir, I have this party of mine on the 6th of Feb, and I think I'm going to cancel it because all this has happened. And he said, no, Mr. Lal, please don't cancel the party because you are a man in Bombay with a known name and known reputation. I think you should carry on with the party as if nothing has happened. I said, how can it be? Mentally, I'm not there. I mean, such a thing has happened, and I don't know how it's happened. So he said, no, you please carry on, but please pay everything in check because my people in plain clothes will be there to see and observe. But I said, what about you? Would you like to be? He said, no, I will not be there. But anyway, cut to everything that happened in that 1 week was very traumatic. And I don't want to go into the details of it. But eventually on that day, I did have that party. And I had about nearly 400-500 people at the party because it was the launch of my 3 or 4 projects which I was doing. One was the announcement of my company, announcement of a new project which I was doing with Nagarjun, and Jab Dil Kisi Pe Aata Hai, the launch of that, the cassette release of that. And it was Ramayana which I had made in animation which I was releasing, and the launch of another trust which I was planning to open in my mother's name for the cine workers, everything eventually. So this was a big occasion. And then on stage on that day, I had, of course, Baba Sehgal, who was a very close friend of mine, perform on that day, and the entire film industry was there. And that day there was Mr. Shatrughan Sinha, my friend, who was there, Mr. Sunil Dutt, my mentor and friend and brother, who was there on the stage. Kapil Dev flew in from Delhi, he was there. And Nagarjun, South, the Telugu actor, superstar, was there. And Mr. Mukesh Ambani and Neeta Ambani were there because we've been very friendly with them, and they graced the occasion and they were there. And they were all on stage together. And I launched each project, as you will see in the video, which you'll see in this podcast, that they all spoke and how they spoke and everything. And then I remember Mukesh whispering into my ear, saying that, Rajan, take this photograph and publish it in the papers tomorrow. So I said, okay. So the next day it was splashed all over the papers and saying, with these people there. And everybody was shocked and saying, okay, 1 week before it was announced that there's a huge raid in Mr. Rajan Lal's house. And 1 week later he's celebrating a party, which was, very surprising for everybody, but that's how it was. Anyway, we had the party, we did a great launch, everything went off fine. And subsequently, when this whole thing died down, and for the record, let me tell you that it took me nearly, I would say, 15 or 20 years to settle this case completely, which is now
20 years?
20 years. it took me to settle this entire case.
For a raid which they did not find anything.
For a raid which they did not find anything, but it continued. And every time I was going to the income tax office for whatever they asked me for, and I asked, a very interesting thing happened. They said, I saw the file lying on the table, and it was called HF something dash stroke something 96 or something like number. So I said, what does HF stand for? She said, HF stands for high flyer. So he said, we've been observing you for a very long time in your activities and your building which you've made, your house which you've made, and your movies and all the movie collections and everything that you're doing. And we've got all the details of the files and everything. I said, okay. So I learned something about high flyers that day. And as I said, it carried on. But somewhere along the lines, this income tax raid, which was troubling me all the time, along with that, subsequently also what was going on behind was, as you know, when you are in the movie business at that time, it was more or less controlled by the underworld, where a lot of people were involved with the underworld. And I was getting a few phone calls from wherever about saying that you overseas right humko de do, ye isko le lo, and all that was happening. So there was like a two-edged sword on my head, and I had gone to the cops and they gave me security or whatever else, and I had a security with me going from my office to home and home to office, and all this thing was happening. And you know how it is mentally, having everything with you there. I mean, a business, a house, an office, a big business, movies doing well, everything. I was kind of flustered. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you can feel them because you're uncomfortable. Somebody broke into your home.
I was every time looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. That's the feeling you'll have.
And especially what had happened earlier with Gulshan Kumar and my friend Gulshan Kumar, who was my partner in Apu Raja. And then subsequently Bharat Bhai Shah, who was very big at that time, presenting, and whatever happened. And then there was Jammu Sugandh, and there was Dinesh Gandhi and myself. We were like 4 or 5 people at that time who were presenting and financing films. And I just said that, you know, there's got to be a better life somewhere.
Because find out this was an inside job, or somebody prompted the authorities, somebody who was like had any animosity towards you.
I don't think I had any enemies. But I'll tell you a very interesting story of how this all started. I was living in Lokhandwala in Premium Towers building, and I was living in the bungalow. There was a row of 8 bungalows, and on one of the top floors used to stay a Sardarji who was supposed to be the Paneer King of Bombay, and he was living there. I got to know this story much later, how it all started. And I think there must have been a dispute in the house or something like that, and with their daughter-in-law or something. And this gentleman, of course, was dealing with a lot of cash because paneer is sold on cash all over. And they used to be in the bathroom those days, water shortage, so they had these
water
tanks fitted, storage
internal
tanks on top of water
tanks.
tank. And this gentleman used to, I think, what I heard was he used to store all his cash inside the water tank. So I think the dispute which happened with his family, with his daughter-in-law, whoever it happened, I think she must have gone and complained about it. And suddenly, when they got to know there's a raid coming on these people, they took all the money and they threw it out of the window. And there was a rain of notes coming down. I remember that scene when suddenly it was raining money, and the money was all coming down because they were trying to get rid of everything. And then they looked up. When they saw from the window all this happening, they looked up and saw, Lokhandwala is basically a middle class area. And all the bungalows which were there were normal. Mine was a little well done, it had a swimming pool, a waterfall, a jacuzzi, a big garden with 3 Mercedes cars standing outside. And one of the guys over there, "Ye kaun hai?" And they said, "Sir, I don't know. This is पता करो ये कौन है, who is this? This is with 3 cars and Lokhandwala. This guy is staying here in the villa and beautifully done, big house, lavish house, and pata karo. And that was the beginning point. So they started an inquiry about finding out who this person is. When they found out, sir, this is Mr. Rajan Lal. He has a 20,000 square feet office, an ITL house in Andheri East, and he's living and he's throwing lavish parties. He's in the film line, he's on television, he's on interviews, this, that. He says, open a file. So the file got opened, and then they started collecting information, and this is how the whole thing started. And they collected this. This is absolutely, I would say, destiny or chance or whatever it is.
I think the turning point was basically destined for you to
It
be
was
here
destined for me.
and for us to actually see the journey unfold over here and be a part of your life. We are all very happy and we are all blessed to be
Today
in your
I'm sitting in
presence
2025 and it's been
in Dubai.
25
like
years.
25 years.
25 years in Dubai, and I moved from there in 2000. And subsequently I started something